Welcome to my channel. In this video, you'll see 4 crash reconstructions based on real events. Don't forget to subscribe and help me get closer to my dream of reaching 1,000 subscribers. Chapter 1. Fatal Drift. That evening, the road near the town of Brentwood, Tennessee, was lit by the soft orange light of the sunset. The sky was shimmering with shades of gold and pink, creating the illusion of tranquility. Cars were moving along the highway, which was quite busy but not congested. The evening seemed perfect for a quiet, safe trip. The blue truck, big and loud, was rolling along at a medium pace. Its driver, 56-year-old Gary Stanley, knew the route well. His movements were routine, familiar, but in a minute everything was about to change. In the next lane was a Kia Sportage driven by a young man, 28-year-old Brian. Behind him, a little further, was a small, white Opel Combo. The driver of the van, 34-year-old Sam, was traveling with his friend Jack, who was sitting next to him, joking and filling the car with laughter. Nothing seemed to portend trouble. But at one point, something happened. The blue truck in front of them suddenly began to veer out of its lane. Its massive structure slowly, but inevitably, entered the oncoming lane, creating a situation that could have been fatal. Brian, seeing the huge truck approaching him, instinctively turned the steering wheel to the right. The Kia Sportage swerved to the side of the road, kicking up dust, but miraculously avoided a collision. Brian's heart was pounding, but he was unharmed. But Sam and Jack, who were following behind, had no time to react. The huge mass of the truck crashed with all its force right into the front of the Opel Combo, crushing the car beyond recognition. In a few minutes, everything was quiet. The rescuers who arrived at the scene found that the driver and passenger of the Opel Combo had not survived. Meanwhile, Brian was sitting on the side of the road holding his head, not believing that he had just escaped the same tragedy. The truck driver, as it turned out later, had suffered a sudden seizure that caused him to lose control of the vehicle. He survived, but the consequences of his condition caused a catastrophe that others could not avoid. Chapter 2. No Way Back. The second accident of the day occurred near Marshall, Kansas, on a highway in the middle of a field. A wide grass median separated oncoming traffic. For many drivers, this route was familiar and safe. But not on this day. A red Porsche 911, bright and glossy, was speeding along at over 180 kilometers per hour. Its driver, 30-year-old Liam Harper, did not feel threatened. Known for his passion for fast driving, he was just returning home from a driving club. He decided to test his car's capabilities on an open road where nothing seemed to be in the way. The wind was playing with the grass on the side of the road, kicking up clouds of dust from time to time, but he was focused on driving. Everything changed suddenly. A strong gust of wind from the field mixed with the dust and hit the windshield of the Porsche. For a moment, Liam lost visibility. Instinctively, he pressed the brakes, but the pedal failed. The system did not respond. Shock and panic gripped him as the car continued to gain speed. With no way to slow down, Liam tried to level the car, but it was too late. Porsche flew across the median like an out-of-control missile and ended up on the oncoming highway. A Skoda Kodiaq was moving ahead, and its driver noticed the red car flying toward him. Only an instant reaction saved him and his passengers. The Skoda managed to swerve to the side of the road. But the next car, a black Toyota, had no such opportunity. The Porsche crashed into it directly in the frontal part. The impact was devastating. The metal of both cars was crumpled beyond recognition, flying in all directions like paper. Rescuers who arrived at the scene of the tragedy could do nothing. Liam and the 3 people in the Toyota died on the spot, and unfortunately, they had no chance of survival. Chapter 3: Intersection of Fate. On that day, October 1, 2023, at around 2 in the afternoon, a tragic accident occurred at a busy intersection near Chattanooga, Tennessee. A 23-year-old man was driving his Kia K5, speeding down a straight road. The sun was shining brightly and the traffic was busy, but nothing seemed to predict the tragedy. The Kia K5 was traveling straight ahead at high speed when a gray Jeep Cherokee came from the right to the intersection. The driver of the Jeep decided to cross the road without noticing the fast approaching car. The Kia K5, unable to slow down or avoid the collision, crashed into the side of the Jeep Cherokee at full speed. The impact was so powerful that both vehicles stopped after only a few meters of sliding on the asphalt. The Kia K5 was almost completely crumpled in front, and the interior sustained significant damage that left the driver no chance of survival. The young man died on the spot. The driver of the Jeep Cherokee, a 34-year-old woman, was seriously injured. She was rushed to hospital, where doctors began to provide emergency treatment. Chapter 4: The Slippery Road to Fate. That day, the highway winding through the hills near Elmwood, Pennsylvania, was quiet but slippery after a recent rain. The asphalt shone under the light of the cloudy sky, and the air smelled like damp earth. Cars were moving on the highway, and drivers were cautious, as the slippery road required increased attention. A red Infiniti QX50, a brand-new crossover, was moving in the traffic. Alex, 35, was behind the wheel, and his wife Sarah was next to him. They were on their way home after a weekend out of town. Alex, always a careful driver, seemed to be in a bit of a hurry this time. A large truck was moving slowly ahead of them, which Alex thought was holding up their route. Sarah was flipping through her phone, absorbed in the news, when Alex decided it was time to overtake. He checked his mirrors carefully, making sure the road ahead was clear. The truck in front of them seemed to have slowed down as well, creating the perfect opportunity to maneuver. However, Alex hadn't taken into account one important factor: the wet asphalt. When he started the maneuver, the Infiniti's front window was momentarily covered with small splashes of water from under the truck's wheels. This obscured visibility for a few seconds, but it was at this moment, as it later became clear, that it had fatal consequences. Another truck was moving at high speed in the oncoming lane. Its driver, 50-year-old Jack Hudson, noticed the Infiniti coming to overtake him, but due to the slippery road and high speed, there was almost no time to react. The Infiniti was crushed beyond recognition, and the impact was devastating. Although Jack survived, he was seriously injured in the head and was in a state of shock. Alex and Sarah died on the spot without a chance to escape. The highway became a scene of tragedy for several hours, and rescuers worked for a long time to remove the mangled wreckage of the car. And that's how this video ends. Not the happiest conclusion, but a necessary one. Remember to always stay careful on the road. Your safety comes first. See you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe.